Hey guys, now you can follow me on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/UltraMaximusReviews.
Oh hey, it's the Batmobile! Ah! You got your ass kicked by a GoBot, the Kmart brand of Transformers.
You suck.
You know, I'm not sure how to feel about all this. Jar Jar sucks, GoBots suck. I mean, look at her. She looks like someone stepped on a bug. But she literally transforms into the Batmobile. I am so conflicted.
Hello YouTube, Ultra Maximus back with another retro review for 31 horror toys in 31 days. And today we're going to rewind it all the way back to 1984 with Vamp from Challenge of the GoBots. Yes, the GoBots, the GoBots. They were definitely pretty horrific, but that's not why I chose to put this figure in 31 horror toys in 31 days. This character was actually pretty much a vampire on the show. I think she only appeared in a few episodes. She was one of the renegades, one of the bad guys, and her power was to siphon the power from other GoBots, which thus made her an energy vampire, so that's kind of cool. I found this figure at my local flea market, the Emporium 31 on the south side of Indianapolis. She was over in the South Side Toys bin for $1, I believe, which is really, really darn cool. I initially didn't know what the figure was when I first saw it. Thanks to some help from people over at Action Figure Identification on Facebook, I found out she was a GoBot. I found the markings on the back of the figure, and I thought it said 1994 Tonka, but I couldn't figure out what it was, and it actually says 1984, so that's pretty cool. Now, she came in two versions, the standard version that we have here, and she also came in a Super GoBot version, which was a lot bigger and had more detail and paint apps, but basically looked about the same. Now, I never had a lot of these GoBots when I was a kid. I had the Super Beetle. I can't remember who he was called. He was the yellow Volkswagen Beetle that was the kind of Bumblebee of Transformers, I always thought. And he was pretty cool. He was die-cast. I kind of want to go find another one, just to relive my childhood. Now, this particular figure, not too bad. Of course, it was the competitor to the Transformers back in the day. She is die-cast with some plastic parts, which is pretty darn cool. Now, as far as articulation goes on this figure, her arms move up and down. If I can get this into focus, there we go. Her arms move up and down like that. She has hinges at her, I guess, elbows right there. And then the legs, they kick up that far. They kick back about that far, probably a little bit further. And then there's some hinge joints at the feet, and that's mainly for transformation. And then the arms can rotate up here at the shoulder as well. Again, primarily for transformation. But yeah, that's about it for the figure. She's a little bit loose, but I mean, she stands up perfectly fine. So taking a closer look at the figure itself, the sculpt on it's not bad. I really like the bright metallic red eyes on the figure there. It's kind of got a very masky, kind of evil looking sculpt on the face. Very bug-like. The one thing this figure is missing though, she had two antennae. You can kind of see one popping up a little bit on the top of this bot, and they look like bug antennas, and they have broken off long ago, unfortunately, but the rest of the figure is in actually really good shape. It's kind of got this charcoal gray look going on, and with a metallic paint, which is pretty darn cool. You know, I don't know, it's very evil looking. It's got a lot of detail, and it's not bad looking back at a 1984 figure like this. So looking at the midsection of the figure, the hands are kind of goofy. They're kind of these crab-like pieces. The back of the figure has kind of the canopy hanging down. The front of the figure, again, pretty decent as far as lots of articulation. It'd been nice if the little claws had some articulation there where they can clamp in and out. And I don't know, the elbows are just kind of weird and goofy to me, which is part of the problem with the GoBots. They just weren't up to spec compared to some of the Transformers. But then again, those weren't the greatest either in the G1 when you actually go back and look at the originals. So, you know, what, 35 years later, looking back, they were definitely some competitors for Transformers. And then finally taking a look at the legs of the figure here, she's for sure got some spindly little legs, but the fact that she still stands upright is very nice after all these years, and with the joints a little loose. She's got these nice kind of bulky feet with these claws, with all these you know, little toes on them and the little claws. The details are really, really nice. Everything about this figure says bad guy, and you know, that's pretty impressive even by today's standards. For comparison, here we have the GoBot Vamp next to the Transformer, Bumblebee, and yeah, I mean, they're about the same size. She's about the size of a mini-bot, but she is die-cast. I don't know. You know, I kind of look back at the GoBots. They were well-built toys. They just didn't have the popularity in the pop culture that the Transformers had. I think the Transformers were just better marketed. And I had a few of them as a kid, but not a lot, and I definitely didn't have this particular figure. And to be honest, I'd like to see a revival of the GoBots now that Hasbro owns the brand, and they've kind of brought them into the Transformers continuity with references in a few of the shows and a lot of the comics. Now, of course, Vamp is a GoBot, which means she transforms into a vehicle, and the cool thing about her is, well, she kind of pretty much transforms into the Batmobile. So let's go ahead and transform Vamp here and take a look at that mode. Now, she's got double elbows right here, if I can get this on camera. 2 joints right there, so you want to kind of move the one joint in a little bit, and then her little crab claw is going to connect right there. I'm going to do the same thing on this side over here. Ow, she's very sharp, very pointy. Okay, so then we got those like that. Then her back fin right here is going to flip up and back like that, and then you're going to flatten out her feet, fold them up like that, spin the arms around like thus, and well, there we go. Here we have Vamp in her vehicle mode. Alright, so let's kind of zoom in a little bit and get a better look, shall we? Got the camera there. Alright, so here we have a Vamp in her monster vehicle mode, and yeah, it's pretty much the Batmobile. I mean, she's got the fins on the back, there's like a little rocket you know, piece in the back here. She's got the 2 fins up front. She's got the red little canopy right there. It's the Batmobile. Come on, let's not give any excuses here. Although it's not the Batmobile from the 80s, that would have been the Super Friends one that was black and blue and yellow. This really reminds me more of the 90s and beyond Batmobile, like the Tim Burton and the Schumacher Batmobile, and the one that we get in the comics in that time frame. It looks a little bit like a jet, but overall, I mean, this is a fun little car. It was kind of part of the whole monster bot thing for the GoBots, and well, for the character who is supposed to be kind of a vampire, it works. So is the Renegade Vamp from the GoBots something that you want in your toy collection? Well, if you're a GoBots fan and you're collecting these toys, this is definitely one you're going to want, I think. It's definitely vintage. It's cool. It's fun to go back and look at a figure from that time era. I was not a big GoBots fan. I did watch the show on occasion when it was on TV. I had a few of them, probably no more than about 6 or so. The one I remember the most was the big yellow Volkswagen Super GoBot. I never had this one. This is definitely a cool figure. I like the vampiric aspect to it, where she takes the energy of other bots. In the fact that it was a female. They had a few females on the show, which, Transformers did as well, but they weren't as predominant as they were on the GoBots. On the GoBots, they were reoccurring characters, where the Transformers, they only appeared like in 1 or 2 episodes, and then Transformers the movie, and then you had one character that reoccurred after that. So, props to the GoBots for, gender equality. Wow, it was PC all the way back then. So, I don't know. GoBots, they still have that stigma of being the Kmart brand of Transformers. I kind of like them looking back at them now. Like I said before, I wouldn't mind seeing a revival of this series, maybe even a cartoon, since Hasbro owns it and it's been kind of pulled into the Transformers universe. I think it would be fun to see them running around and having a Decepticon or an Autobot show up on occasion. It'd be a lot of fun, and, well, you could sell some new toys, Hasbro. So there she is, Vamp, the monster renegade from the GoBots, for 31 horror toys in 31 days!
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, thumbs it up. If you hate this video, thumbs it down. To watch more Ultra Maximus, click on the links to the right. Don't forget to subscribe and share, like us on Facebook, and look for more videos in the future.